Today, I wanted to talk about should you buy a home or not? And then if you do decide to buy a house, how do you actually decide between two, let's call it perfect homes? By the way, my name is Nathan. I'm a mortgage expert. I've helped over 500 families. And this framework or concept is actually very top of mind right now because I'm on dad duty right now and we're potentially moving, which is probably the 5 Ds as to why you're moving. But I at least wanted to share like what are the frameworks that me and my wife are going through to decide should we buy, and then if we do buy, how do we decide what home to pick? Okay, so the first thing that we're going through is actually at least identifying what's like the primary motive of actually buying. Like, what's the why? And I call it the 5 Ds. It's diamonds. Are you getting married or engaged? Diapers. He's sleeping right now. And then if he starts waking up, I'm doing this in one take. So give it a like. All right. So that way he knows that we're doing a good job here. Downsizing, meaning like empty nesters. We have like someone has a giant house and they want to, go to a 1 or 2 bedroom. Divorce, and then death, right? So those are like five main drivers as to why most people decide to buy a house. Because if you think about like fundamentally, if I'm renting a house and I'm very comfortable and I love where I live, why would you want to buy a house? Because it's like everything's good. Um, there's a famous saying by Tony Robbins where he says the pain of staying the same needs to be greater than the pain of change, right? So if you're comfortable staying the same, where you are living right now or renting, why even make the change or move, right? So for us, our biggest, one of the 5 Ds is the diapers. The plan is to move a little closer to in-laws. My wife's parents are going to help, you know, take care of our newborn here, who's 10 weeks old, and plus, they get to spend a little more time with him. So kind of a huge win there. So that's one of the motives. Even though we live really close to the beach, we might be moving a little to not as nice location, I should say, but maybe a bigger house, that type of thing. So first figuring out the 5 Ds or the primary reason why you're buying. Okay. Next is what my wife and I did. We really sat down while we're eating, dinner, and we were talking about like what are the non-negotiables as like kind of the foundation, right? It's like, hey, one, we got to be close to the in-laws. Moving further away would kind of defeat the whole purpose. Um, what other non-negotiables are there? They could be like the area, which is basically what one of our things is school district, maybe commute time. If you're able to work remote, obviously that doesn't really matter, but like those are usually the top three non-negotiables that I see for other clients as well. And then the layer right above that is your must-haves. So is it, a very safe place? As you may grow older, maybe you have kids, you want to be in a safer area. I know when I was younger, right out of college or, trying to save some money, I always lived in not so nice areas because the rent was cheaper. But I was also just a single guy, so it didn't really matter for me. But it might change as your life, evolves. What are some other must-haves? Safety, affordability, like obviously that might be very important. What about the space, right? Do you plan to entertain, things like that? And then the layer right above that. So that's the non-negotiables, the must-haves, and then the nice-to-haves, which is right above that, kind of like a pyramid here. That's probably like a pool. Is it near parks? Is it near a gym? Is it near restaurants? Things like that, right? Walkability. But your situation is going to change, so you kind of want to change the you want to move different parts to different sections of the pyramid, right? And then the last thing that I think is important to figure out, which is before you start looking at homes. So please do this. I call it the 7 out of 10 rule. I learned this from another, let's call it successful real estate investor, calling it the 7 out of 10 rule, which is basically finding the perfect house is going to be near impossible. I've also met people who built their own custom houses, and guess what? A year later, like, man, I messed up this part. I would have built it differently there. I think it's human nature, right? So perfect is, in my opinion, this elusive unicorn and probably won't happen. Okay. So what I like better is this 7 out of 10 rule, which is you're probably going to find that, that you want to decide, do I want to buy a 10 out of 10 home, but a 7 out of 10 location, or a 7 out of 10 home, but a 10 out of 10 location because it's going to change your complete like search criteria. Okay. Once you identify which path you want to go down, that'll really like ease your mind and reduce the anxiety because I know that for a fact before we I would say maybe a few 5 years ago when we bought this current place is we did not have that rule in mind and it was really difficult for us to make a decision. But now that we've decided what path do we go, right? Are you looking for home or location, right? The fact that we had that filter sorted out before we started looking, it has made a world of a difference. Okay. So please do that. And then the last thing is now, right now, we're kind of in negotiations. So we're trying to figure out, okay, well, there's these two great homes, of course. Um, like they always, life will always give you two tough decisions, right? Because if it was easy, you would already made the decision. So there's only the tough ones left. So this is the last framework that I think will serve you guys. One is when you're trying to decide between two homes and you sleep, please sleep on it, right? And the next day, which house did you think about first, or like what house got you the most excited, right? The reason why I say sleep overnight, right? Let the decision simmer. Your brain's going to do the subconscious thing and probably think about 20,000 things. And then when you wake up and then you kind of like got it in the back of your head and then you bring it forward and then you're like, huh, which house did you think about and which house got you the most excited? Funny thing enough, we woke up the other day and we're thinking, man, what do you think about this property versus this one? And both of us looked at each other. Okay, well, I got really excited about this property right here, and I woke up really excited. My wife also did too. My baby son, he didn't really care. He doesn't know. So no, he was laughing because he was like, and I don't know, any new parents in the morning, they're the most happy for some reason. They're just like laughing like crazy. So that's something that was like top of mind. I wanted to, just do this in one take because it was really top of mind. Like literally, it was literally top of mind. Hence why I had the baby. I was like, man, I should really talk about this because I just got done with a client call and they were trying to make that tough decision. So I shared it and they were like, wow, thank you so much for walking me through that because that made my life a lot easier. So that way you can avoid analysis paralysis. So as always, keep learning and I'll catch you guys on the next one.